Bryan Mbeumo still has not walked through that door, and we know that Manchester United are very interested. What's the latest?
Manchester United are interested. Their second offer was rejected. They remain confident that they can get a deal over the line for Bryan Mbeumo. We're expecting to see a third bid, which would probably be a final bid for the Brentford man. Manchester United would love to get this wrapped up and sorted before they go on their pre-season tour of the USA as well, and they very much want Bryan Mbeumo to be a part of that squad that travels with Ruben Amorim. The key thing is the fee, and most importantly, the structure of the payments. Brentford have always been quite staunch in that we want £65 million and we want the majority of that paid up front. So therefore, Manchester United are either going to have to be a little bit creative or they're going to have to find a softened stance from Brentford to get this deal over the line. I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying it feels like it's close. Feels Manchester United lodged that third bid. We're still just waiting for those moments.
Just off the back of that, I think will wisely look at Mbeumo if he was to leave. They've got to prepare themselves that if the deal to Manchester United does materialise eventually, they're going to need to be in a position to start the season having replaced Bryan.
Update on their pursuit of the Brentford forward Bryan Mbeumo, and United are expected to make a move for Mbeumo this week.
Yeah, it's understood that they are getting encouragement that the player wants to move to Old Trafford.
Yeah, Brentford will listen to offers for the forward, who they value in excess of £60 million. There is a feeling within the club that Mbeumo has earned the chance to move to a bigger club this summer if one meets his valuation. So they've got...
We know that Brentford want around £60+ million for the wide man who's been there since 2019. His numbers stack up, very consistent with what he does, brilliant relationships with every single person he's been at Brentford. Ivan Toney, Said Benrahma, Ollie Watkins. He's been a consistent force there, but has his Brentford days come to an end?
And if they have, it seems to point to Manchester United then. But, Michael, Thomas Frank's arrival at Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there have been discussions throughout the last week to 10 days, Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur, very amicable discussions. Thomas Frank, coaching staff, and initial discussions over Bryan Mbeumo. I think for Brentford, it's getting the deal they want, is it? I don't think they're necessarily interested on the club he eventually joins. There's Anton Semenyo Spurs are looking at as well, and there's a number of players around Europe Spurs are looking at in those attacking positions. I think for Mbeumo, what I understand is he's quite intrigued by a potential prospect of reuniting with Thomas Frank. For me personally, I still think it does lean towards Manchester United. Gone are the days about they want to play in the Champions League, they want to play in Europe. It's still Manchester United at the end of the day. But what Tottenham do have on their side is one, yes, they've got Champions League football and a manager he knows ever so well in Thomas Frank. So it's very much a wait and see. It's an intriguing one, but he potentially does have a decision to make.
Does the arrival of Matthias Tel affect a potential deal in any way?
Nothing to do with it whatsoever. Right. Matthias Tel was always going to stay. Ange Postecoglou said to me in a press conference that I've signed him for a long term. Unfortunately, Ange won't be there, but it will be Thomas Frank. But Tel's 19. He's still very young. Now, when Spurs signed Matthias Tel on loan, it was with an option to buy him permanently. Spurs have brought that fee down. That's what Spurs have done. But my understanding was it was always going to be a permanent. And also, Thomas Frank has given the thumbs up on this deal. So that's an exciting one in itself. But Tottenham's transfer plans going forward have no bearing on the permanent sign of Matthias Tel.
I don't want to go away too much from the agenda, but Thomas Frank's record for developing players and improving players is sensational. You know, he worked with the Denmark under-16s, 18s. He's been around working with young players, and as obviously you just have to look at the roll call of honour of Brentford players that have all improved under him.
She's coming in, and they've taken some good coaches from Brentford. Now, you do wonder now what potential players Thomas Frank might fancy at Brentford, and does he want to take a number of players from Brentford? It is talking Nathan Collins, the defender who's been absolutely brilliant for them at Brentford. But in terms of Mbeumo, there have been initial discussions about a potential deal. They are interested in him. Anton Semenyo is another player Spurs like as well. But at this stage of the window, they are just one of a number of top attacking players Spurs have been in discussions with. The encouragement Spurs have had, Jules, is the fact that Bryan Mbeumo,
A man who has dominated much of the early transfer talk this summer, that is Bryan Mbeumo. Will he be following Thomas Frank out of Brentford? And if so, will it be to Spurs or will it be to Manchester United? We spoke to the player yesterday, and you'll have seen that with us, I'm sure. Wasn't giving too much away, was he? Let's, before we come to the Spurs angle on this, get the Manchester United perspective with you, Mark. Linked with him for some time. They've got competition from Tottenham Hotspur. How confident are they of getting their man?
Well, Manchester United will be supremely confident of getting a player that they've identified as someone that can massively improve that attack at Old Trafford. We know that they're relaxed about their pursuit of Bryan Mbeumo. In fact, really, he had turned down other Premier League sides to get to the point where Manchester United were lodging bids for Bryan Mbeumo.